Hi everybody! Welcome to the collection update for September 2023. This month I have quite a few stories to tell, so please stick around. We have one deal involving a sealed Mario Kart Double Dash and a giant deal involving a lot of Super Nintendo games for $5 a piece. So please stay tuned and enjoy the video. So for our first story we need to go back a few months. If you might remember, I got a The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask box a few months ago, and I gave that lady my number because she said that she might have more at home. Then one day I got a message on WhatsApp that she had a lot more, and we drove there and basically bought her whole childhood collection. So we brought the whole collection and I sold everything I already had, and my personal cost came down to 50 euros. So everything you're going to see in this segment was 50 euros in total. Also, I gave her the link on my YouTube channel, so if you're watching this, thank you again so much. I am so happy with the stuff I kept. The first thing I kept from the Mario Kart Double Dash deal are these three books. Majora's Mask Guide, a Ocarina of Time Guide, and a Super Mario 64 guide. We kept this beautiful Game Boy Advance SP in the Legend of Zelda the Minish Cap edition. The game is also included. The Game Boy is in pristine condition. I think the Game Boy is worth around 70 to 80 euros. Next up we have two boxes, because much like the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask box that I got from her, I also got these boxes. I already had the games, and now I have completed box versions. I think each of my version increased around 20 euros in price. So I think the Legend of Zelda is worth around 50, and Snowboard Kids should be worth around 30. She also had a bunch of Pokemon cards that I kept. I am not deep into the Pokemon card game, so I don't know what these are worth, but I think that they look very cool. Here's the first side, and this is the second side. I think these look very cool, and I'm for sure going to keep them. And here we have probably one of the most special things I personally ever found, not because it's the rarest or the most expensive, but I personally never saw a sealed GameCube game before, and to own my favorite Mario Kart sealed is such an amazing thing. Like, oh my god, we have Mario Kart Double Dash red strip sealed. So this is in a very nice condition. I have not really seen any sold listings for Mario Kart Double Dash new and seal. I think it's worth around 350 euros. If it's graded, it might even go up to 500 to 600 euros. And I am very happy to have this in my collection. So our second story resulted in this video.
Okay guys, oh my god, I was just at the garage sale and I got this whole thing for $5 a piece, and I'm literally shaking. I'm shaking right now. This is probably the best deal I've made this year, so I am so happy actually at the moment.
So on the German platform Kleinanzeigen, somebody posted an ad for Nintendo games and that they were going to sell them at their garage sale. The thing with garage sales is I usually go very early, but not as early that people aren't there yet. But in this particular case, I saw some games that I wanted, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna wait until they open and look through everything if I am even the first person to be there. We drove there, I was the first person, and I ended up buying almost everything they had because they were selling the games for $5 a piece. So that is basically what you're going to see in this segment. For the Super Nintendo, we have out for launch a game I don't know, but it should be worth around 35 to 40 euros. We got Tiny Toon Busters, Bust Loose. I think this should be worth around 20 euros. Super Adventure Islands with a caveman that definitely looks very similar to a certain plumber. I think this should be worth around 45 euros. Something I definitely needed in my collection, I think. Paperboy 2, I think this should be worth around 25 euros. We have Cool Spot, because every mascot in the 90s needed to be cool. This should be worth around 20 euros. We got Crash Dummies with a lot of ugly stickers. I think this one should be worth around 15 euros. We have Asterix, worth around 25 to 30 euros. And we can't forget Obelix, so here's Asterix and Obelix. This should be worth around 15 euros. A game I heard should be very hard, Pinocchio for the Super Nintendo. I think it's also worth around 25-ish. A game where I heard the Genesis version is better, Aladdin, also should be worth around probably 30 to 35. Magical Quest, starring the mouse that eventually will take over the world. This should be worth around 35. One of the Super Nintendo games that almost everybody has, Super Pinball, should be worth around 15. We got Pinball again with Pinball Dreams, but this one is a bit more expensive. This one should be 25. We have Krusty's Funhouse here, a game I will definitely not play, but should be worth around 25 euros. Super Mario All-Stars, which I already had, but I didn't have the box, should also be worth around 25. And whoever back in the day thought that these stickers are cool, fluff you. Here we have Bob. Bob should be worth around 70 euros. Super Goals and Ghosts, a game I had back in the day, but unfortunately sold. Now I have a completed box. It's a very fun game. This should also be worth around 70 euros. We have one of Rare's best games here, Donkey Kong Country 1. Very nice game. Love the box art. Should be worth around 45 euros. And this is probably the rarest Super Nintendo game I own now. Sunset Riders, complete in box, all original, very good condition. In this condition I have it right here, it should be worth around 300 to 450 euros. I see prices all over the place. Unfortunately, there are no sold listings at the moment that I can reference to, but it is very expensive if you have it original and in a good condition. This is a very, very nice game to have, and especially to find it for $5 nonetheless. So going to Nintendo 64, we have Star Wars Rogue Squad. I already have this game, so it will not stay in my collection. It should be worth around 25 to 30 euros. Again, whoever put that sticker there, fluff you. We have Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. I don't know for how much this game goes exactly. I think it was around 30 last time I checked, but I have to see. We have Donkey Kong 64, which looks way better than the one I have, so I'm gonna sell the one I have and keep this one. Of course, the expansion pack was not inside. And we have Super Mario 64, a game that's not really that expensive with the box, but I really, really want to have it in the box someday, and I'm glad I finally found it. It should be worth around 35 to 40 in the box, but still, it is really cool to have. We got one promotional N64 VHS here. And before we forget, Super Mario World without its box. I'm so sorry, I almost forgot this. Should be worth around 10 euros. Now we move to Game Boy. Here we have Planet of the Apes for the Game Boy Color. Should be worth around 15 euros. It's a cool game. Unfortunately, the only box that didn't have its game inside, I did not check at the flea market. I saw it when I got home, but I'm still very happy. For 5 euros, this is very much awesome. If I ever get the game, I have a completed box version. Pac-Man World 2 for the Game Boy Advance should be worth around 10 euros. Pac-Man Collection also should be worth around 10 euros. Very uninteresting game. Tetris Worlds, again, should be worth around 10 euros. Frogger's Adventure 2, also around 10 euros. Yeah, I know, no Game Boy hits in here. Moving to some Sega stuff, we have Wonder Boy for the Game Gear inbox, should be worth around 20 euros. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, complete in box, should probably worth around 50 to 20. I'm not really sure on this one. And one of my favorite finds, Sonic & Knuckles for the Sega Mega Drive. It's not really that easy to come across a box version of this. I have a normal copy without its box, so I was very happy to find this and replace my copy. Should be worth around 50 to 60 euros. And here, last but not least, here's our segment about our flea market finds. I hope you enjoy it. So for 20 euros, we found this Game Boy Advance in Ice Blue in a pretty okay condition. It's a little beat up, but it's very nice. It also came with some games. Janosch, Maya and the Bee for Game Boy Color, Brother Bear for the Game Boy Advance, and Hugo for the Game Boy Advance. We have the Seventh Dragon for the Nintendo 3DS. Believe it or not, I found this at GameStop for $12.99. This is actually a pretty expensive game now. It goes for around 90 to 120 euros on eBay. Planes 2 Sealed for the Wii U. We need to have that full set one day. I bought this for 15 euros new. Should be worth around 15 euros new. And we got 2 Switch games this month. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with Funky Mode. And Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I paid 10 euros each for these. So, here's how much I spent this month, and this is how much it's worth. How did I do? Please tell me in the comments down below, and what is your favorite find? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this month's collection update, and I hope to see you all again next month. And I want to thank Hey the Bug for supporting me on my Ko-fi. If you want to support me there too, the link is in the description.